Yashala. I'm saying come Yashala. Ay, come Yashala. Rise is real. Rise is real. I pray to God I will wake up. He answered me now that I woke up. I feel like I gotta say something. I gotta try to erase out all of they lies, all the fake stuff.
Shalom, Israel, shalom. This is King Ecclesiastes, watchman for Israel, coming at you with another cold cut and another lesson. Of course, giving all honor and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, right? With that being said, we're going to get right into this lesson, man. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Who is the tribe of Ephraim, right? And we're going to get into it. Historical, documented history, archaeology, right? We're going to get into all the aspects of it, biblical prophecy, and who fits the curses, so on and so forth, man. You know, this lesson might take maybe 2 or 3 parts, you know, but we're going to prove without a reasonable doubt who is the tribe of Ephraim, right? Who are they today in 2020? Who is the people of the tribe of Ephraim, right? And, you know, due to this lesson, you know, I want to kind of set a foundation, you know, based off scripture, a scriptural foundation, right? Because a lot of us have a lot of scrutiny, right? A lot of misconception as to who they are. A lot of us like to listen to other people, but don't like to do our own research, right? And this is historical facts. History and the Bible are cohesive. They run hand in hand, man. You know, from Adam and Eve all the way on down. And what happens is that we like to give men too much credit. You understand that? A lot of us in Israel especially, you know, you give a lot of credit to man and don't give too much credit to the Most High. Well, wait a minute. We're going to get into some scriptures that's going to disprove and it's going to put a big damper and a rain on your parade, right? Because this is what we're here to do. We're here to contend for the faith. You understand that? So setting this foundation in, we're going to get into the scriptures right away, right? This is going to be the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 5. If you ain't got your Bibles out, get them out. Let's get to it. Take your pen, get your highlighters out. We're going to go through the lesson, right? I'm going to set the foundation first, and then I'm going to get into the lesson, right? I'm going to take away something and then put something back in. So the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, and I'm going to start at verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. You understand? That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. So there is no other God besides Yahweh, right? Yahweh is the main God, period, point blank, period. There's no other beside him, next to him, none of the above. You understand? And verse 7 is what I really want. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So the Most High is responsible for all things, whether it be good, evil, bad, whatever word you want to use to describe, you know, the two differences, which is a just balance. The Most High God creates everything. Understand that, you know, including this 12 tribes chart that you have so much scrutiny upon, right? That you have so much misconception on, that you have so much to say about, but you can't disprove it. You understand? But the Most High creates everything, right? And we're going to get into it, man. We're going to continue to get into it. And line upon line, precept upon precept. So we're going to go to the book of Proverbs, right? We're going to go to the book of Proverbs, right? Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. Right? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 4. And it reads, the Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. Y'all understand that? That's a beautiful precept right there, man. The Lord, the Most High Yahweh, has created all things for himself. So there's a purpose for every single thing that takes place upon the face of the earth. Every single thing. There is no such thing as an accident, and no, there is no such thing as free will. And this is what we have to come to understand, that the Most High God creates everything, man. right? And we're going to continue to get into that. We're going to get another precept on that, right? This is the book of Colossians, right? Get to the book of Colossians, right? Because those are Old Testament. We get into the New Testament too, man. Straight up and down. We're going to deal with it, right? Shalaka, y'all. I got Galatians instead of Colossians. Right? So getting into it, the book of Colossians, right? Chapter 1 and verse 16. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And you know, that's going into Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High ordained Yahushua to come create everything, right? He gave him the instructions on how to create and how to do and how he wanted things done, as it is written, right? This is all ordained from the Most High, man. He calls the shots, man. And everybody does his will. Everybody does exactly what he's supposed to do, right? Getting that understanding straight up and down, right? So we're going to go back to it. And we're going to go back to the book of Proverbs, right? Back to Proverbs, because a lot of you don't understand and you continue to give too much credit to man, which is not supposed to be that way, right? You're supposed to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, right? It's the book of Proverbs. We're going to go to verse 20. Salakia. Proverbs, verse 20, right? Chapter 20, Salakia, chapter 20, and verse 24, right? Man's goings are this is a classic. This is a classic. Proverbs 24, 20 and 24. Salakia. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own ways? You see that? Man's goings is of the Lord. Whether it be from the left-hand side or whether it be from the right-hand side. Most High willing, anybody that's being edified through this video, he's dealing with you on the right-hand side. That should be us, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Because we're following the law, statutes, and commandments. Those are on the left-hand side, will be the 2/3, right? Esau, Edom, these other nations, right? We're talking the Arabics, Ishmaelites, right? The Moabites, the Ammonites, the Chinese, Japanese, you know, so on and so forth, you know? So the Most High is dealing with everybody, but not everybody's being dealt with on the right-hand side, which is the side that you want to be on, you know? The hand of Yahushua, right? Not the hand of Satan, right? You understand that? So getting into it, we're going to go and jump into the book, because line upon line, precept upon precept, this is how we're going to do all of this. A lot of you like to put a lot of doctrine out there and don't precept it. You just take a scripture and you just draw your own conclusion out of it, right? For you need 3 witnesses, man. 3 witnesses. 3 is a perfect completion, man. Jeremiah chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. Let me see. Jeremiah chapter 10. And verse 23. 10 and 23. Right? And it reads, it's the book of Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. You see that? Again, it's saying the same thing. Different book. Proverbs, Jeremiah. We're going to get another one for you too. I'm going to read that one more time for you, man. Verse 23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. So you have no free will, man. And this all is debunking the fact that the 12 tribes chart is made from a man. Everything is made from the Most High. There is no such thing as free will. The Most High made the 12 tribes chart. Straight up and down like that. And you got to deal with it, whether you like it or not. Because you can't go up against the Most High. Can he then make straight what he had made crooked? That's in Ecclesiastes, man. But we're gonna get another precept for that, right? And we're gonna go to Psalms, right? Psalms chapter 139. Psalms chapter 139. Salaki. 139 and verse 3. No, that's 138. Salakia. 139 and verse 3. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. When you get into the word compasses, it even goes into saying like a compass, right? What do you use a compass for? For guidance. So the Most High is guiding your footsteps. He's guiding your path, man. So that's 3 accounts, man. And that was David right there in the book of Psalms, So with that being said, man, we have to come to understanding that, a lot of people come to the understanding the old Abba Bivens, old One West, old these, that's that, and the third, man. You know what? You got to give credit to what credit is due, man. Because if it wasn't for a lot of these men that were bringing these things out, man, you would still be calling yourself black. You would still be calling yourself Puerto Rican, Mexican, so on and so forth, man. We got to give credit to what credit is due, and the scriptures is where the credit is due, and all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh. He has used these brothers and these men to start waking us up. It wasn't going to be something that was just going to fall out like that straight out the sky, and we was going to get all the understanding. This is something that needed to gradually grow into so that the prophecies could be fulfilled, right? These men were getting the information, and they were starting to grow, and we're continuously growing, right? As learned men, we don't know everything. Nobody has 100% truth, man. And we understand that, at least at our camp we do, as Watchmen for Israel, the WFI camp, we don't have 100%, We just know that we teach thus saith the Lord. We go line upon line, precept upon precept, man. And we continually grow every single day, man. We don't put off knowledge, but we gird our loins up, we man up, we go out and we teach, we fast, we pray, we work as unison as a team, man. Because that's what the Most High wanted us to do, So with that being said, man, don't come over here trying to challenge the 12 tribes chart. Don't come over here trying to challenge anything, man, because it is of the Most High. When they tried to make the Tower of Babel, the Hamite war tried to do the Tower of Babel, and the Israelites was all getting wicked with it, and we ain't want to get that good doctrine, right? The Most High said, all right, I got something for you. You want to go into other doctrines? He made all these other doctrines as well, man. He created good and he created evil, man. You understand that? He created all things. You understand? Man's goings is of the Lord, man. So with that being said, the scriptures say Israel is scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. So if we're actually scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, then how can the 12 tribes chart be wrong? Come on, man. Y'all not going to get it, man. Y'all not going to get it. But anyway, man, with that being said, man, we're going to dive into this thing, man. The tribe of Ephraim, without a shadow of a doubt, of the so-called Puerto Ricans, what they used to call in them times the Taino Indians, man. Which, again, are products and bywords, man. You understand? These is bywords that they called upon us from the so-called white man. They called them the Spaniards. Understand? So, getting right into it, we're going to go right into the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Yes, we're going to get into these curses. Most High willing, we'll get into the blessings as well, man. I'm going to kind of do it gradually, and I'm going to kind of jump all over the place with this thing. But I'm going to do it in spurts and different sets of videos, all right? Maybe like 3 to 4 parts of it, but just follow along, man. We got the proof right here, man. Ain't nothing hidden. We in the last days, man. Information is a click away, man. Most High created the internet as well. For y'all to understand, again, that the Most High created everything, man. He creates every blood clot team, brethren. Y'all understand that, man? So with that being said, man, we're going to get into this book for the so-called Puerto Ricans and Northern Kingdom. It's time that you take a stance, man, and stand the hell up, man, and start putting on for the Northern Kingdom, man. We got Judah out here putting all this work. Levi, Benjamin. These brothers is out in the highways and byways waking up people, man. It's time that we make our own stands and set right along with them, our brothers, and follow, man. They taking the lead, man. And it's time that we wake the hell up and get back to our nationality. Stop being a damn silly dove and be that damn rhino, man, and start pushing forward, right? The rhino, come on, you know what I'm saying? We got to get to it, man. With that being said, go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49. Go right into it. You understand? And it reads, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. So now, this is specifically talking about for us, for the Northern Kingdom. This is talking, because this goes to all Israel. You know, this goes to the so-called black man, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right, the Southern Kingdom, and this goes for all the other ones too. The so-called Mexicans, the so-called Peruvians, the so-called Colombians, the so-called Native Indians. This fits right into the aspect of what we're gonna get into right now, and the historical events that took place in what we would say 1492. All right, so a place from far would be from Spain all the way down to the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti. These are what these islands are called, right? Before that, they had different names, you know. That was from far. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth. From the end of the earth, when Columbus came here to the New World, that's exactly what he called it. He called it the New World. So it was an end of that world. This was a new beginning of the world as a whole, man, because you were having two different types of worlds colliding together. This was going to be a new world. And that's hence the reason they started the New World Order, right? This is when it started, right? So he said this is the new world, and this is all scriptural, right? As swift as an eagle flieth. So just as an eagle flieth, he swooped down onto the islands, man. And they swooped down and took over all of this, right? They took over all the Americas, which is biblically named Arsareth, right? So we'll get into that as well. But as swift as an eagle flieth is real symbolical, because when Columbus came here, he planted the Spaniard flag. Now the Spaniard flag, right, non-coincidentally, because everything is of the Most High, had an eagle on it, right? It has the red stripe, the yellow stripe, and the red stripe. And in the middle, it has an eagle on it, right? That we understand and have the knowledge and understanding that Edomites and all these other nations, they kind of signify themselves with that animal, right? The eagle. We're talking about Greece. We're talking about Rome. We're talking about Egypt. We're talking about here right now in America. The land of this animal, or the animal of this land, is the eagle, man. You know, the bald eagle, man. So, I mean, it's symbolical, man. The Most High creates everything. You understand? Right? As swift as an eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We never spoke Spanish, man. That was not our language. You understand? When Columbus came here, he brought forth with him a Hebrew interpreter by the name of Luis de Torres. This is historical facts, man. You can look these things up, because you got to remember that the Southern Kingdom was ruling in Europe for 1,000 years, man. Here we go. This is historical events. These are chain of events that were taking place all in order. When the Spaniards, or the so-called white man, went over and they took over Spain, they took over the Southern Kingdom, right? And y'all got punished off for the simple fact that y'all were worshiping the stone. Y'all were going into Islam, so on and so forth. You understand? That was your punishment. As the punishment for the Taínos, we went off by serving Atabe and creations instead of the creator, right? And that goes into the book of Hosea. The book of Hosea, there's nothing new under the sun. So the book of Hosea is for the tribe of Ephraim, the northern kingdom, which they call Israel in the Bible, right? Judah would be the southern kingdom, right? And we never spoke in Spanish. We actually spoke broken dialects of Hebrew, right? That's what we spoke, man. Hence the reason why they called us Jibaros. Jibaros is actually a transliteration of the word Hebrews, right? He knew exactly who we was coming to deal with when he came down here, right? And we see that. The movies show us that, historical events show us that Christopher Columbus himself knows that because he read 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, he knew exactly who he was going to come find down here. They had the greatest army, so why would they even not attempt a way to get into India? They said that they was trying to find another way to get into India, which is a damn lie, man. They would have got in there. Simple as that, man. So, with that being said, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shew favor to the young. You understand that? So, with understanding what Christopher Columbus came down here to do and understanding the historical events that took place in 1492 after he came down here, we would understand that this fits exactly what he did. He didn't care if you were an elder. He didn't care if you were a child. They were ripping us apart, man. They were chopping our hands and feet off. If we didn't labor, they were ripping out babies out of the wombs of the women because they were just fierce people, man. They didn't care, man. We're not like them, as the scriptures say, man. They're fierce, man. They just didn't care, man. They're of the devil, man. Straight up, they're of Satan, man. But like the scripture I just read in Isaiah 45, Proverbs 16:4, even the wicked for the day of evil. See, they were the wicked, and that was the day of evil, man. You understand that? And I got some footage for y'all, I got some footage for y'all so that I can watch it and be able to understand what's going on. But first, I'm going to get line upon line, precept upon precept. Deuteronomy 28:49, as swift as the eagle fly. But we're going to get that in the book of Hosea, right? We're going to get that in the book of Hosea. It's another account because Hosea is actually talking about, right, the northern kingdoms, talking about Ephraim, man. And nobody else fits this stuff, man. You can't prove this stuff on another level to anybody else, man. Nobody else fits these things, without a reasonable doubt, Let me get this real quick, Salakia, y'all. Bear with me. Book is a little husky because I got Spanish and English on it, so I still haven't gotten used to it. Double-edged sword. All right, it's the book of Hosea. We're gonna go to chapter 8 and verse 1, and it reads, "Set the trumpet to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law." So this is talking exactly about the Taínos, man, right? Esculacia, as swift as an eagle flieth, right? As swift as an eagle flieth. He came, he said, as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they have transgressed my covenant. We broke the covenant, man. What was his biggest covenant, man? What was the first commandment? Thou shalt not have no other gods besides me, man. Straight up and down. And that's exactly what we did. We went off trying to find and confine in other gods, man. Atabe, the hurricane god, the sun god, the moon god, the star gods, and all these other gods. If you look into the Taínos, man, they had all different types of semis. They built themselves up idols. They worshiped them. They gave on the altars, they sacrifice different types of animals, and they fed it fruits, all types of wickedness, man. It wasn't to the Most High. The Most High wasn't dealing with it. He wasn't accepting it, man. And if you could continue to read that on, and you know, that'll count, that'll come up, you know. But we're gonna go into the book. Hey man, line upon line, we're gonna get 3, man. I like getting 3. 3 is a completion, you know. As the brother like to say all the time, 3 is a completion, man. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 8. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards. So when Columbus came over, man, he came over with horses, man. This is what they was doing. This was war, man. He bring horses with him, right? What else does it say? And are more fierce than the evening wolves. And the horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat, man. There it is again. And that's even getting more specific with what was going on in the days of 1492. Because they came with horses, man. They came with guns, right? They spread themselves out, right? And they tried to get the whole Taino on lock, man. But guess what, man? They didn't really succeed too much, you know, because we still here. You know, a lot of people like to say, historians like to say that we have been decimated and we've been wiped out, right? But that's due to scriptures as well. And we'll get into that in another lesson, man. But at the same token, Habakkuk 1 and 8 was a beautiful precept for that, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off some curses, and then I'm going to show you a video and allow you through the spirit to be able to discern and put it all together for yourselves. Because a lot of historical events are not found out there for us to understand who actually are the Tainos. We don't really hear too much of the Tainos. We hear more about the Aztecs, the Incas, right? The Mayans, you know, the native Indians, so on and so forth. But you don't hear too much of the Taino Indians, man. You know, but we're the crown of the Northern Kingdom, man. Top tribe of the Northern Kingdom, as we would like to say, right? And therefore, for that same reason, we are the tail and not the head, man. You know, scriptures tell you that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and read off some of these curses, and I'm gonna start at a specific spot, man. And most high willing, I get through all of these curses, through all these videos that I'm gonna break down, man. And just bear with me, right? So we're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and we're gonna start at verse 20, and we're gonna read all the way down to 37. Then I'm gonna show you a video and allow you for yourself to be able to see how we fit the curses. And those are just some of the curses, man, you know. But not only do we fit the curses, but we fit the blessings as well, man. You know, this is our DNA. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. For they shall be a sign and a wonder as to who thy people are, man. You know, so let's get into it. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. And that's talking about what the Tainos did, man. We forsook the Most High because we got into worshiping the creation and not the creator. The Most High God, Yahweh, is a jealous God, man. Wasn't I the one that took you out of the land of Egypt? That's what he would say, man. He took us out of the land of Egypt. How are we going to go worshiping other gods, man? Right? But all of these things needed to come to pass because it was written, right? It was for a purpose, for a sole purpose of the Most High to be able to build this up, to be able to give us the experiences, to be able to understand what it is to mean to be betrayed, right? To understand what it means that he has all the power, man, you know? Verse 21, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. Pestilences, man, cleave, man. You know, these are the things. I'm going to show you the video. You're going to be able to see these things in a spiritual manner, man, right? Verse 22, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning and with the sword and with blasting and with mildew and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And this is exactly what it's going to. Consumption with the fever, with inflammation, and with extreme burning. You know, when the Spaniards came over, man, they brought with them plagues, man. They brought with them diseases and sicknesses. And this is how they killed the majority of the so-called Latinos off, was with smallpox, influenza, the bubonic plague, man. You know, because these damn devils were sick as hell, man. They were carriers of these diseases. You understand? And this is how they decimated a lot of the Taino Indians. And also the Aztecs. That's another lesson. We'll get into that as well, man. Most High willing, you know. Ahparayam, right? And with an extreme burning, they set us up on crosses and they burnt us down, man. That's what they did to us. That's what they did to our people. If we didn't accept Catholicism, they would straight up tie us up to a cross and burn us, you know? So with extreme burning and with the sword, this is what they did. They cut us and chopped our hands off with the sword. And with blasting, this is talking about the guns that they brought with them, the muskets, you know, the cannons that they had that was coming off of their boats, so on and so forth, right? With mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Man, they hunted us down, man, until we perish. And that's exactly what they said. They said that the Tainos perish, man, you know? Verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. So either we was getting burnt alive, which would be the brass sky, the brass heaven, that we thought we was in our heavens, right? Either we was getting burnt at the cross, or we was getting chopped off by the sword, right? Or getting shot down by the gun, which was the iron, right? Which is beneath us. Verse 24, the Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed, man. He turned all the rain was like dust, man. It was just dusty out there. You talking about smoke everywhere, and the dust was the burning bodies, man. You understand? And the overwhelmingness. This is spiritual, man, and physical. You know, the overwhelmingness of what was going on at this time. You got to continue to picture these things, man. Right? Verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. See, and it says we shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. So Columbus took the Tainos. He took them out to Mexico. He took them out to Hawaii. He took them out to Colombia, to Peru. All of these places, man, because they was exchanging slaves back and forth, so that we can work some of the mines, so we can actually guide them and take them through the what you call today South America, so we can take them through there, so we can guide them through, so we can show them how to actually live out there, man. You know, Columbus took a lot of the Taino Indians with him back to Spain. You know, a lot of us were actually traded off into the transatlantic slave trade as well. You understand? They traded some of us for some of the Southern Kingdom brothers as well. You understand? That's what it means to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth. See, they had Mexicans, the Aztecs, they brought them into Puerto Rico as well. They brought them into Cuba, in the modern day Haiti, Dominican Republic, so on and so forth. They continue to move us around, to show us into other slaveries, into other captivities, sell us, Salakia, right? You know, it got to the point where I read in a book one time that they stopped actually using compasses, and they stopped actually using the people, and all they needed to do was use the bodies that were in the water to move back and forth from Mexico, Peru, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. They used bodies, man, because they were just dumping bodies left and right, man. This is what was happening in 1492, before 1619, the actual Atlantic slave trade, man. You know, the Southern Kingdom was getting prepared at that time. They was already stored in these crazy houses where they was gonna be starting getting shipped off, man. It all came to fruition because it is of the Most High. The Most High done whooped our behinds, man, because we done messed up, right? Reading on, verse 26. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. We wasn't getting buried, man. Wherever we was getting chopped off at, right there is where they was letting us slide, man. This is what was happening to the Taino Indians, man. Exactly what was happening to them, right? Verse 27. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. And this is talking about them sicknesses that we had, right? Influenza, smallpox, measles, you know, so on and so forth, right? This is a botch, man. And we wasn't able to be healed. We ain't even know. The fevers and all of that stuff. We ain't even know how to deal with that stuff. This was our first time actually dealing with that stuff, you know. Verse 28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. We couldn't believe that this was happening to us, man. With blindness, with astonishment, man. With madness. With madness, we was going crazy. The Taino Indians, a lot of them was taking their lives, man. They ain't want to live through this stuff. You know, this was harsh, man. This was harsh times, right? Verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday, and as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Man, we had plenty of rebellions at that time, you know. We had, we gonna get into it. The video I'm gonna show you, Enrique, the rebellion, right, Taino. We had, El Cacique, right. They all rebelled, man, and we had a little bit of success, you know. But again, everything is of the Most High. It is all written, man's goings. So it wasn't meant for us to actually win this war, you know. It was meant for us to get our tails whooped, you know, and learn the lessons that we would understand in these days what was going on, right? Reading on, verse 30. Salakia, and I want to say real quick, and even then today we still had our so-called Puerto Rican Malcolm X and Pedro Albizu Campo. Pedro Albizu Campos. You can look him up, man. You know, he was Malcolm X before Malcolm X's time. He was Malcolm X before Malcolm X's time. You know, he actually shot at the president. You know, we had our Harriet Tubmans and Ana Canoa, you know what I'm saying, who tried to save us out of slavery, try to save her people, man. You know, we had all these rebellions the same way that that the Southern Kingdom did. You know, we actually teamed up with them and had rebellions afterwards as well, man. But this is all historical events that taken place in the midst thereof that we have to come, you know, get that understanding, you know. I'm gonna read on. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Man, we had wives, and these damn devils came over, and they was raping our women. Another man shall sleep with your wife, man. You know. This is one of the events that took place that had Enrique El Taino flip his switch and was like, man, this is enough. You know, besides all the oppression that he was going through, they done raped his wife, man. And that's going to be in the video that I'm going to show you in a short while, right? Verse 31, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. Our animals, man, you know, they were taken, it was killed off. A lot of our ways and means of life were broken off, you know what I'm saying? They were killed off. And thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna rescue them. Ain't nobody gonna fight for them. We was already just destroyed mentally, physically, and form you could possibly think of, man. We was devastated, you know. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. They were taking our children, man. They were putting them into captivity, putting them into slavery. They was raping the little girls. They was raping the little boys. They was taking them and selling them over into Mexico and selling them to all these other islands, man. You know, this is what they was doing, man. This is historical facts that was taking place between 1492 and 1619. You know, this is what they did, man. They was wicked as hell, man. Right? And we couldn't do nothing about it. On verse 33, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. There was actually a system that they put in place. It was called la encomienda, whereas those they gave property and they gave slaves unto certain people, you know. Even certain so-called Negroes, right? They had some property and they had some slaves, you know, in those days. Because you got to remember, they converted over and they actually came over with the so-called white man. And that, in tune, is some of the reason why there's so much strife between the northern and the southern kingdom as well, too, man. You know, sometimes you remember that stuff. That's part of history. I talk to a lot of so-called Latinos today, and they say, well, hold on, man. You know, when the white man came over, the so-called Negro came over with them, you know. But it was just another way to get to us. Because guess what? They knew that they could communicate to us by them. When I say them, I'm talking about the so-called Negroes, the Southern Kingdom, Salakia, right? And this is what they did, man. You know what I'm saying? But the encomiendas was set up for that, where they had pieces of land and we would toil the land and we won't, hey, we couldn't eat off of it. Everything, we would just, whatever they gave us, you know, we would have to make their food, you know, we would have to grow their food, show them how it was all done, you know, so on and so forth, right? Verse 34, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. We was pissed the hell off, man, that we had to go through this stuff, you know. But hey, it was written, man. It's our law, you know. Verse 35, the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. And this is what it was, man. A lot of our people were hurt, man. I'm talking about to work them mines, them gold mines, you know, be cutting them damn sugar canes, so on and so forth. Man, we had that botch, man. We was sore. It was over, man. Our knees was tore up, legs was tore up, you know, and we couldn't be healed, man. Sole of thy foot, the top of thy head, all of this, man. We was finished, man. They had us out there demolished. And this is what was taking place in 1492, so and forward, you know. Even to this day, man, we still getting into that, you know. Verse 36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. You know, and this goes into for us them bringing over the wooden cross, Christianity, Catholicism. This is the wood, you know, and the stone was us going off by worshiping stones, because that's what exactly the Tainos did. You know, they called them semi-gods. You know, if you go into the Taino history aspect of it all, they was talking about how they served stones. You know, they would worship unto stones. They wrote and everything on stones. You know what I'm saying? But that also goes into Islam, because that was also brought over to us, you know, was wood and stone in these lands. You know, that's talking about Islam and Catholicism, the wooden cross and the damn Kaaba stone out there in Mecca, right? Some of our people get into that too, man. Surprisingly enough, but the scriptures say it. Thou sayest, you know. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. So there, now we understand that an astonishment, right? A proverb and a byword among all nations. This is talking about how they called us Indians, because the word Indians only means savage, all right? They called us Indians. They called us then Tainos. Then they called us slaves, right? Then they called us Hispanics, right? They went in forward to call us Puerto Ricans, right? They so on and so forth, man. Spics, wetbacks, just all types of products and bywords, you know. And you can look them up, man. That, like I said before, we're in the 20th century, man. It's nothing but a click away, man. You can research these things for yourself. So that's what that verse is talking about, man. You know. And with that, man, I want to get into this video for y'all to be able to enjoy. Hopefully you're edified through the spirit, you know, and start to wake up as to who you really are, man. You know, the so-called Puerto Ricans are the tribe of Ephraim today here in 2020, right? And we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, right? So with that, I want to bid a fair, hearty shalom. You know, all praise Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Ramalak Yahweh Shai. Watch the video and enjoy, Israel. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Salakia, Israel. YouTube has blocked my video about 3-4 times now. I try to I try to fix up the video to where those we can be able to watch it, you know, but fortunately it's not gonna be able to watch it on YouTube. But you know, looking for other ways around it. So tune in to my Instagram, right, at King Ecclesiastes, King_Ecclesiastes. Come to my Instagram channel and watch the rest of the video and be edified, Yashar Allah. We got it up on there. We're going to get this truth out no matter which way, man. It's going down, you know. So go ahead and tune in, you know, and go check it out on Instagram, IGTV. I'm going to have it up there. We're going to continue to edify, you know. Subscribe to the channel, WF5 Philly Jersey. You know, we still out here bringing out content, man. I'm going to have a part 2 ready to come soon, you know. So just stay tuned, Israel. Be patient, man. You know, Kwam Yashid Allah. Kahala Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Kwam Yashar Allah.